Coach, you guys obviously played Pitt this season, though a long time ago. But did you look at that game at all when you guys were starting to prepare for Pitt?
Well, we played here last year as well, and they're pretty much the same team, as last year, and then played them first match. I think I looked at all those matches, just to see what's going on and kind of what they're trying to do, or just remind us what we look like against them. I think is good, but I think some of their tendencies have changed, from the beginning of the year, as you would expect, and I think we're pretty different from the beginning of the year. So not something I'm just relying on, but a tool to look at.
What are some of the things you've seen from your team, growing from all of the season, especially now here in the Sweet 16? How do you think your team has grown in terms of their play?
Well, I think confidence probably is where we're growing the most. Again, we have a lot of new pieces this year, and it's just a long road because you're trying to, looking back on the first match, our personnel is very different. And then just the connections, how much they've grown. And then because of that, I feel like we finally were finding our way in that match against TCU. And I really felt like the team just very much has bought in, and I'm really proud of how they're competing, and we're going to need to compete at our highest level tomorrow.
You guys obviously new to the Big Ten this year. How much does that travel schedule of going to across the country, like places like Rutgers or Indiana, change your how you're traveling for the season, and also help you prepare for a game in Pittsburgh for the Sweet 16?
Yeah, I think that we flew in last night. I think it's a quick turnaround time, and I think our travel this past season has definitely prepared us for that quick turnaround, and just making sure that we're taking care of ourselves and our bodies to prepare us for big matches like tomorrow.
Daily and
both players, you guys played here last year. You played in that win. How do you mix obviously respect for your opponent with trying to draw some confidence from the fact that you have had success against them here?
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of remembering what works for us, and looking back on those games that we like that game last year, what worked for us and those skills that worked and everything like that. And so just remembering that, but also adjusting to their new team. They have a new team this year, especially even there's a difference between them this year at the beginning of the year and then right now. So I think just adjusting to them, but then just staying with us, staying with how we play our games.
But so you're removing kind of any emotions or the emotional high that might have been. You're removing that. It's more just tactics, strategy, things like that.
Yeah.
Why does that make the most sense?
I think we're a very emotional team, and sometimes that takes us either super up, which is great, but it also takes us super down. So I think kind of just keeping that steady pace throughout the game, and reminding us okay, this is how we can work technically to get us points in the game. And so
maybe how have you seen Pitt change over the year?
I just think they're a really good team, and I think they've been a good team for the last couple of years. Now they've got a couple of really good players. And I'm going to be honest, I haven't watched a ton of them just because I watch more Big Ten stuff just because it's easier to watch. I think they're a good team. I'm excited to play them, especially because we did play them earlier this year. We played them last year, and I feel like recently there's been a lot of us playing them more than usual. I'm excited to play a really good team in the Sweet 16.
Coach,
you've had experience too playing quality teams in their place in this round of the postseason. What do you feel like you can draw on from the last couple of years' experience, and what have those taught you that can be difference makers to try to get a different result against a team like this in their own building for this round?
I think just kind of what Dale said earlier, just managing our emotions. Again, they're going to be at their place. They're comfortable here, and we maybe aren't as comfortable, and just playing our volleyball and making sure that we're taking care of the ball on our side of the net, and just again managing emotions, not getting too high, not getting too low.
And we could take that experience that we've had from let's say we went to Wisconsin this year and played in the field house, and we experienced what it's like to have a sea of people behind you when you're serving, and so just taking that experience and sharing that with your teammates. But I feel like we all this year kind of got used to that, so we're excited for that.
Yeah, what is the process of disseminating that? Are there some teammates that you say, hey, you just need to experience this on your own? Are there some that are going to want a lot of coaching about, hey, what they're going into? Or do you just take a broad strategy with your group one way or the other?
Yeah, pretty broad. I think we're all very much on the same page a lot of the time. Yeah, so we haven't really had to bring anyone in and be like, hey, like it's all right, like I know this is like everyone pretty much expects like what's gonna happen.
Coach, from last year, obviously you had a lot of talented players that departed from the program, and this year you have a few new pieces. What was the process like of integrating those new pieces into the program, and how have you seen them, obviously with two of your veteran players right next to you, how have you seen those two players help them grow into the program and what it means to be on the Oregon volleyball team?
Well, I think we're still doing it, you know. Again, I think this is a group that the ceiling is very high, and I just think we just want more time, you know, but we're running out of it, obviously. There's a finite amount of time, but every week I see a ton of growth from us, whether that's an individual, which leads to the team success, or just our cohesiveness on the court more. This group has done an amazing job quickly of becoming very bonded off the court. And I think that's been very helpful for us. So now it's just, you know, how quickly can we learn on the court responsibilities more and more. Really, where do we excel in what areas, what sets, what type of offense, things like that. You know, with Chris being her first year setting, that's probably been the biggest curve of getting her comfortable. One, I think, you know, when I look back on the first match against Pitt, you know, we didn't control the ball very well in serve receive. And the first probably third of the season, we were not a great passing team. We've come a long way. That's allowed Chris to run the offense so much better. You know, she's not running around the court the whole time. So, and you know, Pitt is one of the best, if not the best serving team in the country. So that's going to be a really great test for us tomorrow is can we handle their service pressure? If we do that, that allows Chris to run the offense she wants to run, and she's surrounded by weapons. And I think trying to figure out how those pieces work together, you know, so that we can run our best offense and then try to hopefully find some matchups that will help us score against Pitt will be really important.
You guys have one of the best blocking presences in the nation. I want to say your blocks percent is 7th nationally, and Pitt really struggled against the block against Oklahoma. You guys are a much better blocking team than Oklahoma. Do you plan to use that kind of to your advantage, knowing that they had those struggles?
Yeah, I hope so. No, I mean, when we are blocking our best, we're technically sound. Again, echoing what they say, when we can push emotions aside, they're going to be there no matter what, right? They're really excited to play in this match, and they put so much time into their craft, and they take a lot of pride in how well that they do. And to be here is really a wonderful moment for this group. But those things need to be pushed away for now, and so that we can focus on what we need to do technically and tactically. Yeah, and if we can set up our block well, that will be very important, I think, against Pitt. Again, Fairbanks is so good, and again, they are one of the best passing teams as well. They just don't make many mistakes. They don't give you many points. So the more pressure we can put on them with our serve and our block, I think that will be really important for us to be able to find that 2-point edge.
It's not the first time you guys have been pretty upfront about that. Yeah, you guys can get caught up in emotions one way or the other as a group. What have you learned in terms of pressing the right buttons in a match about this group, about how to try to control that, let them ride it when it might be appropriate, or try to rein it in? What's been that process for you?
I think I've tried all the buttons. I'm not sure there's like one special button that I can push that makes it happen. I think you're just trying to feel the group and what they're dealing with that day. And sometimes it takes a while. Like I thought the first set against TCU, we were so amped that, again, generally when that happens for us, we're out of control. We give too many points away. I think we gave 13 points away in the first set. If you do that against Pitt or any of these teams, like you're in trouble. So I think in between sets 1 and 2, it was just like, here's what happened. And if you want to be successful, this can't happen again. So we need to come back down. We need to start breathing. We need to look at each other and communicate more. And those are generally signs for us that we can respond better if we take a deep breath and start talking and listening to each other. But again, with Pitt, I mean, again, they don't give you many points, and we have a tendency when we're uber emotional to give away a lot of points, and that's a bad combination. So we're going to have to come out, be very competitive tomorrow, but really within our game plan, within ourselves, trust that our process has been good enough, and just go out and play our best volleyball. If that happens, I think we'll minimize our errors. I think we can put pressure on them with the blocking, with our serving, with our offense, everything, and I think it could be a great match.
Pitt's middle blocker Bree Kelly hadn't hit her stride when she played you guys. Coming off a major injury, she's become arguably one of the best middle blockers in the nation, has the highest hitting percentage. What have you noticed about her in your preparation, because she was kind of an unknown when you guys played her last?
I mean, they still use her really effectively against us. She just wasn't swinging very hard, but she was fast tipping the ball around, and we had a hard time with that. I think what makes it tough is they have her at the M2 spot, and so she's surrounded by Stafford and Babcock, so it's like, pick, what are you going to do? It's really hard to double team her. So I think that hitting percentage piece, if Oni was our M2, you could see what that would look like. But I think that makes it really tough because they have her in that spot. And she's very good. And Fairbanks does a great job of moving the offense around. So, no, it's a tough cover because you really can't favor off of any of their attackers, right? I think they're all region. I mean, all 7 of their lineup. I mean, that's, incredible. And I think that's why they've been the best team all year is because they're really balanced. And Fairbanks has all the choices and she can just pick what the right matchup is. But definitely Bree's amazing and happy for her. And I think they're just setting her the ball more. Again, talking about earlier, kind of where we've grown with new pieces. Bree would be like that new piece for them, I guess, as well with Jones. And I think you just see Fairbanks and Bree's connection just growing more and more each match.
Funny that you just played Becca Kelly and now you're playing her sister.
Yeah, we know the family pretty well. Yeah, we know the family well. They're both great family.
There's a no set start time for tomorrow. It's 30 minutes after the game prior, and it could be a clean sweep and you play earlier, or could be it looks like it's 3 sets but it goes a set longer. How do you as players prepare for a different start time than you're expecting in the first place?
I mean, I don't think it necessarily matters for us. I think we're always ready to just go warm up in the corner, get yourself as prepared as you can, and then just start being aggressive as soon as we hit the court for warm-ups or just for the game time. I think our staff and our strength coach does a really good job at that and preparing us for that, just for any scenario.
Thanks, Beams.
I was talking about Coach Rod.
Oh, I see. He's pretty great.
Any more questions?
Thank y'all.